Hello my friends, and welcome again to my video channel. Today in part 3 we will try finally to repair the frequency indication in the MFJ998. In the last part we swapped the PIC, didn't help, the PIC was not a problem, so we have another option. It's a display itself. The display is a little bit more than only a display. There's also a controller on it. Maybe the controller is a problem. So let's start. This is a display. What we have here, 16x2 LCD. There's a controller inside and a supply voltage unit. And here we have the data connections to the MPU. This is the PIC what we have. The schematic is like this. We have here the PIC, and the PIC is directly connected to this LCD unit. And here we have the unit, MPU unit, controller, and the display itself. By the way, here's another unit on board which converts voltage from 3.3 volt up to 5 volt if necessary. In this case it's not necessary. The LCD is not equipped with this unit here because we have a 5 volt supply. So this whole part I will now swap with a new one. The unit is prepared for taking out the display. I shortened these pins a little bit because it's easier to get access with the tip of the desoldering gun. By the way, you see this desoldering gun has got a separate grounding strap here on this pin. It was not grounded originally, and I had a voltage of several, let me say, peak voltage of 50 or 100 volt peak here. It was a high ohmic voltage, a capacitive coupling, but internally here we have the heater element, and here we see the wires. So this part here is under high voltage relative to the IC, and I do not want to kill the PIC and other components here. So the chassis is grounded. I have to be more careful. I will ground myself now. The grounding strap as it should be. And then the desoldering gun is also grounded, and then we can start. And now we can start pin by pin. Okay. I've forgotten first pin. Goes nice and smoothly. And so on. And now the display should be, yes, can be removed. Here we see the two ICs, U1 and U2. And this is U3, this is a DC-DC converter which is not equipped. We have to look carefully now for the soldering connections. Okay, this is not perfect. Yes, that's okay now. Oops, I have to unplug it. After unsoldering we have to check whether all these pins are still okay, but they are okay. And then we'll take a new one. a new display. I got a new display from a friend of mine. He has some of these new old stocks. They have a little bit of different layout. It's the version 1602A. The old one was the version B, as I see, according to schematic. And where is it stated? Can't see it. But I know it's version B. But this also will fit into the holes, because I compared A and B version according to the data sheet. There is absolutely no difference. The difference is only the serial number, not more. Not more. And now the new display in action. Same problem again. I've connected the generator to the input as before. The power is detected. I can show you an effect. When I switch it off, leave the HF connected, and when I switch it on again, turn power off. This means I have to turn off the high frequency power, not the power of the tuner itself. Now I switch off the power on the signal generator, and then I switch it on. So it's okay. But when I switch on the signal generator, the frequency is 3.6 megahertz. Nothing. Problem still exists. Another root cause could be the interface. We have here the interface, which is connected to this LAN connector. It's called the radio interface. We have here the wires which go to this integrated circuit. Nothing is connected externally, but maybe when there's a problem with this interface circuit, that this could cause some troubles. But it's also not the problem. When I connect the power switch on, we have the message no interface. Okay, but still when connecting the signal, nothing. Turn power off. Okay, that's a problem, but not the problem we are looking for. Nothing. Nothing. I simply have no idea. The final test will be the self-test of the unit to check whether we can locate the problem this way. We have to squeeze down the tune button, press it, and then switch power on. We see here some copyright notes about the company, version 1208, and then the press antenna, press mode, C up, C down, L up, L down, press tune, pass in CW mode, Morse code. Then we can switch it off. When we turn it on, it continues. It makes again some checks which are passed. switch off, and then we can switch it on for normal operation. You can check the mode and so on, but it is still not working. Frequency is always 0. I will go upstairs to my station and try to use a little bit more power, up to 100 watt, and to check whether this unit will operate with higher input power. I don't expect it, but I just do it to be on the safe side. I talked to the owner, and we agreed that there is another problem. The problem is the power indication. I connected the tuner to my transceiver into a dummy load. I'm generating 100 watts. You can see it here, and also on the power meter up, but it's not shown. It's not necessary. You can believe I'm running 100 watt. This indication should be here, forward and reflected. 2 dots indicate low power measurement range I found in the manual. So the scale should be anywhere here. We only measure 3.1 forward power, and 3.3 is the SWR. When I change the mode, it's now in the SWR mode. We have here an SWR from approximately 3. Okay, there's a picofarad. Forward power 3.1. When I reduce the power, we can see the meter follows, but 3.3 watt is definitely wrong. It's 100 watts. What's going on? Frequency measurement is not okay. Power measurement is not okay. There's a routine to check the meter. I will show it. When we switch it off, C up, C down, and then power on. Calibration watt meter to 0. Then we should set both meters to 0 with the mechanical setting of the screw. It's known. And when we go to the next step, we have full scale, forward and reflected. We could align it with these 2 pots here. I don't do it. It's not necessary to do it precise, but we have a full scale on both indications. What does it mean? The meter itself is okay. The PIC controls the meter. That's okay, but the PIC does not indicate the correct power. There is an alignment. There are 2 pots for forward and reflected power. When I try to align it, I can increase a little bit, but not more than 3 watts. So the input of the PIC is bad for power measurement, or the firmware, software, I don't know. It's very suspicious. I check the so-called wake-up signal. It is pin 28. DC 4.96, it's 5 volt, and when I feed in power, the wake-up signal goes down to 1.8. It's a little bit high, but I think that's the influence of the wires due to the long wires and the high frequency here. 1.7. I will reduce the frequency here, go down to 3.5. Oops, 200 watts, a little bit too much. Don't want to kill my transceiver. 4.96, 0.25 wake up signal goes down. The case here is open, so the induction in this wiring here is at higher frequencies very high. Now we have 3.5 megahertz. That's a little bit better. So the wake up signal also is okay. It's generated from the frequency counting input. So obviously the hardware seems to be okay. I only checked the control of the forward and reflected power, whether there is something bad, maybe bad diodes, but this wouldn't have an influence on the frequency measurement. It's all very, very suspicious. I will check the input of the forward and reflected power from the two pots which came from the SWR bridge, which is located here. And the one pot, the forward power at 100 watt. Yes, we have 100 watt, generates 105 millivolt. And the reflected one generates 15, 16. That's okay. The dummy load connection is not perfect due to the lot of relays which are switched off when the inductors and capacitors are not active. So the 100 millivolt should be sufficient to drive the scale to full scale. I check whether we have a short circuit in the input of the PIC, and I will take the PIC out and then see whether we have a higher voltage, an increased voltage. The PIC is out, the unit is switched off. I'm measuring at the pot. It's a passive circuit up to this pot. And again we have 105 millivolt. Forward and reflected, same value as before. So the PIC input is not shorted. It is still okay. Mystery, mystery. Everything is mystery. I'm sad, very sad to say we are now at the end of this project. I have no further idea to solve the problem with reasonable effort regarding time and money. What did we do? We swapped the PIC. I replaced it by a new one. I assume it is new old stock. Didn't solve the problem. Replaced the display, including the controller on it, of course, not only the display. There is a controller on it, on the board. Looks like this here. The whole unit didn't solve the problem. We could see that the controller, sorry, the PIC is able to control the meter directly during the alignment process. 100% scale deflection is possible when aligning the meter, SWR meter, forward and reflected power. We see some indication of power, but much too less. We have no frequency indication. I can't imagine which fault outside the PIC it should be, which could create such a behavior. So I'm sure I would say 99% that the problem is still the PIC. But why is a new PIC not better than the old one? It is a new old stock PIC, as I assume. And this would mean that the old one, or that this new one, which is not new, is not better than the old one. That there is a problem inside these PICs over the years, decades. So there's something rotten, something got wrong. And maybe this is a batch I got from two PICs with the same failure inside. There's one step to go further, but I don't do it, to look for an operating 998, take out the PIC from this operating 998, insert it here, and take this PIC, which is not working, insert it in the other, and then we can observe whether the error or the correct one is moving or not. But would you do this when you have an operating 998 to take out the PIC and insert it here? I wouldn't do it if it is my MFJ998 and to find a guy who is willing to give his 998 for a test. I'm not sure. Again, I wouldn't do it. Well, it's sad to say that I couldn't find the fault. I have an idea what to do, what we could do, but as I said, no chance to realize it. This 998 operates, it tunes automatically, no problem. So I could only resolder the cores here, the windings for high power, and insert a new screw here which was missing. That's all. I say never give up, but here in this case I say I give up. Again, the effort of time and money would be increasing, and whether we would have any positive result, I'm not sure. Well, that's it. Not every project has a good or a happy end. There are also projects which are failing. I have no problems with it, to say it. Stay healthy, stay tuned. See you on this channel.